Coming to you with a short little video on bleeding the Rekluse left-hand brake. Now, I'm going to start with saying that I don't love the idea of the left-hand brake. I think it's something that just complicates the cockpit and bars of a motorcycle, but I do understand the use and why some people really like it. There's guys out there that just love to have it a lot of times for downhill right-hand switchbacks. They like to be able to grab that brake instead of having to push the brake with your right foot, and they, that way they can keep their right foot off the bike and out on the ground to kind of pivot the thing around. So I totally get it. It's not my thing. But more importantly, I don't really like the Rekluse version of it. It seems that it is always spongy or lax braking totally, no matter how you bleed it, no matter what you do. I think it is because the reservoir, which is down in here, is really small, doesn't hold much fluid. So as you use it and the brakes wear and the pistons come in, and so it needs more fluid down there, it gets an air bubble really quickly. So I don't love that about it. Also, it's kind of like a bicycle master cylinder brake. Anyway, there's another version out there. It's called the aux brake. I like it a lot better. If you're going to have a left-hand brake, I like that one better. So we'll start with that. But let me show you how to bleed these things. I'll show you how to do it if you don't have the special tool. The easiest thing to do is to take this thing off the bars and get up higher so that the bubbles go up. So we'll start there. And I will mention that you need to start by making sure the foot brake works. This one does. So this just needs to be bled. If you're wondering, we're dealing with a 2019 300XC, but it doesn't matter. These things are all the same, especially if it's the more recent version. The older versions were a little different. Now we got her up. The bleed hole, just so you know, is right up here. That's where you're going to add fluid and get air out, which is another reason I don't love it. It's tiny, it's a Torx, it's just anyway. So, but a lot of times I'll just get this thing up here and squeeze it and see if it changes at all. It's not. So we got this backed out, we got this all the way off, and we're gonna open that up and we're gonna try to get some fluid to come out using a syringe from down on the bottom. So we'll start by setting that syringe up, and then we'll come up here and open this up. So again, like I said, foot brake works great. Everything looks good. All this is happy. So I don't foresee any real problems. We just need to bleed it. It probably just gulps some air. We got to get a syringe on here. I like this stuff, the RBF 600 from Motul. It's .4. It works really good. It's got a high boiling point. It's really, really good fluid. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill the syringe up a little bit with that fluid. Put it on. Here. Put that syringe uphill. Get an 8mm for that. All right, now what I like to do to get all the air out and uphill is crack this open and then push the foot brake down. There we go. That gets all the air. You see the bubbles moving. That's good. So that gets all the air up there. So now when we push the syringe down, we're pushing only fluid. Come back up. If you've got one of these brakes on your bike, just know that you're going to need to know how to bleed it at some point. And again, I'm not judging anyone for running one of these brakes. What I am saying is that the Rekluse version is not my favorite. So, little bitty teeny weeny Torx. So you will need that tool no matter what. Let's take our little bleeder out, set her over here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the back, and we're going to open up the bleeder, and we're going to squeeze the syringe and push fluid up here. So I'm going to leave the camera up here aiming at this. See right there. Keep an eye on that as I force fluid up. There we go. See the air coming out. Now we're going to close it. The deal is, if you're doing this by yourself in your garage, you're going to have a real hard time doing it without making a mess. I'm going to put this back in, because I have a feeling it's going to be pretty good. I'm not going to tighten it down all the way yet. All right, I can feel some resistance. That's definitely better. So now, here is a trick so that you don't suck air back in there, right? The real tool looks like this from Rekluse. And this right here screws into that, and you can put a hose on that, and you can either have another syringe and fluid anyway. But again, if you don't have that, if you maybe got the bike before, you didn't put this on here, what you can do is you can back this out till it's loose, and then go back in just a couple threads, and then we're going to force more fluid back up. That being in there should help us to keep from sucking any air back in. So that's open. We're going to push. There it comes. Close it. Close that. Feel that. That's feeling really pretty good. I bet we're good. When you're doing this, when you're feeling it like off the bike like this, it's going to feel probably a little spongy. First of all, we've got everything set to the as far out as possible, both the this adjustment and this adjustment, so it's going to feel squishy anyway. Also, since it's not bolted to the handlebars, it's really hard to tell. But I can tell you right now, first of all, it's got something, and second of all, it's actually pretty good. So I'm going to put this back on the bars, tighten it down, and then we're going to check it. That feels way better. We haven't even got it adjusted right. I feel pretty good about that, but let's jack this thing up in the air, spin the tire, and grab the brake and see if it'll stop it. Sweet. That feels pretty good. It really does. And see, that's super, super simple way to fix the thing. And usually, like I said, 9 times out of 10, if the brake has been working before and then all of a sudden it stops, it's because the pads have worn down just enough, that the piston came in enough, that the fluid came down enough, that it just gulped a little bit of air and you lost all pressure. So, like I said, that master cylinder doesn't hold much fluid at all. So little tiny changes make it, get air involved. There's no big reservoir for more fluid to come in. Like I said, it's not my favorite setup. It does work. I like the aux brake better. And so there you go. If you have any problems, if it's not quite good enough, you saw how easy it is to do. You can just go bleed it again. Crack that bleeder on the top just a little bit. Leave it in there so that air just isn't reintroduced right away. Force fluid up from the bottom. Tighten it down. Check it out. You should be good to go. Hope that helps, guys. Like I said, I know a lot of you know all this stuff, but in case you don't, or if you got friends that need to learn, share this with them. Give us a thumbs up. And if you like what we're doing, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And I really just want you guys to get out there, spread the gospel of two wheels, and please find some time to ride your dirt bikes.